And YouTube is up. All right, so we need to fix you. Maybe. Yeah, all right. Is what it is, right? As long as I'm not cutting off my head. Maybe that pretty close on that YouTube camera. I just can't seem to get it right without screwing something else up. All right, see what that does. Makes it crooked. That's fine. Whatever, right? That's good. You think by now I'm going to have this all together, but the cats will come in and morning, Christine, and knock everything over, and then I wonder why it's all messed up. Anyhow, so today's practice is going to be a lot of shoulder work, mostly just mobility, not necessarily strength so much today, and chest openers, right? So they're a really nice stretch across the front of the chest, which gets ignored a lot in normal life anyway, right? Hopefully not in your yoga classes. Hopefully there's a lot of chest openers, but that's what we're going to work on. So remember, you can always go and choose something else if that's not what you need this morning, right? You can make things harder or not as hard, right? So just listen to what your body needs and skip things you don't love and maybe throw something else in that I might not be doing if it feels right for you. Cool. All right, so we're going to start seated. Aligning the heels to the groin as much as you can and releasing the knees to the floor. They probably don't touch and it's okay. Right? So making sure that you feel upright on your pelvis. That's the important piece there. To sit up on a block or something, then do. Right? Make it work. Lifting the pelvic floor, the lower belly's in and up, and we're tall through the sides. So you just got a little better posture, right? Relax your shoulders down. Think extending out the crown of your head here and close your eyes. And just be here for a moment. There's so much to do all the time and making sure you're here on time and there and all these things you have to do in between. Allow yourself to be here. And for really right now, other than what we've talked about, there's nothing to do. Notice how it is to just be here. Bringing awareness to any areas that you might need to give a little extra love to, whether it's a deeper stretch or something you shouldn't do today. And keep that in mind as you practice. Beginning to expand into the breath all through the nose. Find a breath that's just a little bit bigger than comfortable. A little bit. And those are the two rules. Be present in your body, aware of where you are. Acknowledging any limitations or things that you have to really work for. And staying connected to the breath. Everything else is just extra. So let's add in the extra, extending the arms out to the sides. Inhaling as we stretch the arms towards the ceiling. Exhaling as we bring them back down. Let's do it again. One more time like that. Inhale back up to the top. Exhale the right hand back to the mat and give yourself a little tip to the right. Keep the pelvis rooted and even on the floor. Nice and long up the left side of the body. Inhale, make your way back to center. And then switch. Take the right hand down. Nice big breath here. Come on back up, inhaling. And then once more to each side like that. So with the breath, opening up the side body a little bit deeper. And then coming back up. And over to the left again. Back to center. And exhale, release. So go ahead and take the hands to the knees here. No. The right hand to the left knee and the left hand behind the body. Easy, simple little twist like someone called your name behind you. And then just notice what areas of the spine are the most mobile for you, right? Or areas that maybe are a little tighter. You don't have to do anything about it. Just notice. Sitting nice and tall here. Notice how this right shoulder wants to kind of collapse in toward your chest. Keep it back. So whether you touch your knee or not is not essential. Come on back through the center. Same thing on the second side. So just an easy little twist, kind of noticing where your body wants to go. Whether it's even or not, just, again, noticing. But then noticing that shoulder and seeing if you can draw it back. And then release that back to the middle. We're going to go to that first side again and change it up just a little. So the right hand back to the left knee, left hand behind the body. We're upright on the pelvis, nice and tall through the spine. So from here, imagine rotating your belly button toward the left. Imagine turning your side ribs toward the wall behind you. And then opening the left shoulder without letting the right shoulder collapse. So it's just a little bit more even. Turning your head, maybe even looking over the left shoulder there as far as you can see. And just notice, is it more even? Releasing that back through the middle. Take your second side. Same idea though. Really supporting the body with the arms, rotating around from the bottom to the top kind of idea. Taking a couple of nice big breaths here. And then we'll release that back to the middle again. So let's come around onto hands and knees. Spread the fingers nice and wide, nice and even on the four corners of the hands here. Knees under hips, so the back is kind of flat and parallel to the floor-ish. And then with the breath here, on the inhale, drop the belly toward the mat. And with the exhale, round your spine toward the ceiling. So with the breath, back and forth like that. And just like in your twist, notice where it wants to move, where in your spine is really open and mobile, and which areas maybe not so much. And as you go, maybe those tighter spots begin to participate a little bit more. Floating up and down the spine as evenly as you can. One more flow. And then finding our middle. Let's go ahead and walk the hands about a handprint ahead or the knees, the knee print back. Bringing yourself to kneeling plank. Same idea though, get really happy on the four corners of both hands. Shoulders down and back without sagging through or pushing away. So find that middle ground again. Belly's working to support the lower back. You can stay in on the knees if you like, or lift the knees away from the floor. If the legs are straight, press through your heels. Keep the belly working. Again, we don't want to sag or stick the butt up in the air. Right in the middle. And then let's go ahead and lift into down dog. So lifting the hips and just kind of wiggling around a little bit, waking up the body. Walk in place, bicycle the heels, however your brain sees that. And then kind of settling into it. So pressing the heels toward the floor, they don't have to touch. Press the chest back toward the thighs, getting that nice stretch in the hamstrings, maybe in your lower back a little bit. Keeping the shoulders neutral on the back, hands even on the floor. So from here, with the breath, on an inhale, we're going to slide forward into our plank. And with the exhale, back into a down dog. So forward and back like that, super simple. If you feel like you need to be on the knees, this can be kneeling plank to child's pose. Yeah? So you're getting the stretch and the mobility with a little less work. Decide what your body needs this morning. Let's do one more forward and back. And then go ahead and drop on down to the knees and sit back into a child's pose. And the arms can remain outstretched, or the hands can come back by the heels so the shoulders get to release toward the floor if that feels better. If they're not already, go ahead and slide those hands forward. And we're going to lift back into our kneeling plank. So check in that the shoulders are neutral and your belly is working here. We're going to take the right foot over to the right side of the mat. Leave that knee on the floor. And then open the body out to the left. So right hand, right knee, left toes in this straight line. Right? You look like you could be standing up, kind of. And then how fancy you get from here, of course, is always optional. The left leg can lift. The left arm can lift. Here, we want to get a little mobility. So with the exhale, we're going to take this left hand, weave it between the body and the floor, reach behind you. And then inhale, come on back up to the ceiling. So with the breath like that. Let's go once more. And when we're back to the ceiling, release the toes, bring the hand back to the floor and into kneeling plank. Exact same thing on this side. So the left foot's over to the left and the body's open to the right. Again, check out that you have your alignment and the left hand is happy. Extending the arm, lifting the leg, all the fancy stuff if you want. And when you're ready, weaving through. Exhaling as you reach back and inhaling as you come back up. Once more. And then let's release it, moving back to our kneeling plank and back into child's pose. So this time, let's lift up into that all fours position again. So more of the tabletop idea. From here, right hand, palm up, moves between the knee and hand. So bringing the right elbow to the floor, kind of in the middle of the mat, underneath your face-ish, right? Not really, a little further back than that. If you want more, extend the right arm and come down so that the shoulder is in that spot, your elbow just was. Maybe. Right? Make sure you're not leaning on your head. The weight should not be on your head. It should be on the shoulder and the knees. So maybe wiggle forward or back to find that spot. And then opening up a little more, you can press against the right hand, or arm, feeling sort of where your belly turns toward the ceiling, kind of. Press into the left hand to take the shoulder back. See if you can feel the chest being open here. That right shoulder does get a little smooshy. See if you can really drop it back. And then maybe take the left arm and reach up. The left hand also can reach behind the back and see if you can find somewhere near your right hip. And then you can draw back. Big breaths. And then we'll release it. All right. Same idea to the second side. So you add what you want to add. Right? Take your time with it. Left hand, palm up, whether it's your elbow to the middle or maybe your shoulder. Again, make sure you're not leaning on your head. And then you add in pressing into the floor with the left arm, pressing into the floor with the right hand. Maybe taking that right hand up toward the ceiling or widening behind the back. Just see what's going on. Releasing it and making your way back to all fours. One more time, back into a child's pose. Stretch out your shoulders as you'd like here. This time, if they're not already, take your hands back by your heels. And again, we want to just be resting the forehead on the floor, not leaning on it, right? If your forehead doesn't quite make it to the floor and you want a little something to rest it on, right? Use a block or a blanket. Right? From here, we're going to take the fingers and interlace them behind the lower back. Pull your shoulder blades together on your back and imagine stretching your knuckles back towards your toes. And then if you'd like, you can lift your hands up off your lower back, a little or a lot. Work to keep your elbows soft so it's not just a hyperextending the elbow. You're really feeling this in the shoulders. Yes? Let's release it. Go ahead and stretch your arms forward. And then we're going to make our way back, yikes, into down dog. Spin the feet forward. Let's come to a standing fold. Feet heart and hip bone distance apart here. Press down into the four corners. If you need some extra stretch for your legs here, it is really the first time we're actually getting much into the hamstrings. So walking in place, supporting with your hands on your shins, coming up out of it a little bit. Listen to where you are. Coming to a center, if the knees aren't already bent, go ahead and do that. Tuck your tailbone down, and on an inhale, roll your spine all the way up to standing. So we're going to take a little bit of a back bend here, and it is fairly early, so if you need a little support, taking the hands to the lower back, right? Just to support with the fists. We can do like we did before with the fingers interlaced behind the back as well. You can make it bigger if you want as we go. So listen to your body wherever you are. The feet are neutral on the floor. The tailbone stuck just a little bit. Hug the elbows toward each other and the shoulder blades toward each other. And imagine lifting your chest toward the ceiling. So regardless of where your arms are right now, feeling it nice and even in the spine. We want to keep the chin tucked toward the throat so the back of the neck doesn't get smushed. And then again, if you wanted to make it a little more or less challenging, you change where your hands are. Keeping the shoulder blades pulling toward each other so that chest is really nice and open. You can breathe. And then on an inhale, gently bring yourself back up to neutral. Release your arms from wherever they are. Just kind of give yourself a minute in the middle. Bringing your hands to your thighs, lean as much as you need to lean for sure. We're going to come forward, half fold kind of place, belly's in. And then gently all the way over into a full fold. And let yourself hang. So really relaxed here. Let your head relax. And then taking the hands up to the thighs. It doesn't matter if your legs aren't straight because we're going to bend it anyway. Bring a 45-degree angle-ish into your hip. And then bend the knees if they're not already again. And sit back into chair. Right, so hang on if you need to hang on. Come center or extend the arms if that's you. If you're feeling like your lower back is smushed, tuck your tailbone under just a little bit. And you're feeling even on the feet. Relaxed through the shoulders. With an inhale, stretch to the ceiling. And then release the arms. All right. So let's take a nice big step back with the left foot. And we're going to straddle. So it's early. So start where you need to be. Toes point forward, nice and even on the feet. Hands to the hips unless you need the support of the hands on the thighs. Either way. Keeping the shoulders back is key and the belly is working. We're going to come forward, half fold-ish. And again, if you need to be leaning on your legs, lean for sure. If you have a deeper fold, allow your body to move toward that fold. And hands on the hips, think elbows up toward the ceiling. Even if you're supporting with your hands on your thighs, think elbows toward the ceiling, right? It'll keep the shoulders back where they belong. Well, it'll help keep the shoulders back. And then allow the hands to move toward the floor without your shoulders sagging. Okay? So maybe if you were on your thighs, you're hanging on your shins now. Bending at the knees if you need. Take the index and middle fingers and wrap them around your big toes. Here the elbows are out to the sides. And maybe the legs are straight, maybe they're not quite. From there, releasing the toes, take the fingers to interlace behind your back. Just like we did before, shoulders pull toward each other, knuckles stretch away, maybe up off of your lower back or not so much. And then gently release the arms. From here, we're going to take the hands and walk them forward. Keep the weight in the heels. Okay. So we're not coming forward with the hips. We want to keep them back where they were. And then just continue to walk the hands, shoulder width apart-ish, forward And you can be palms flat or up on the finger pads, whatever makes you happy here. But again, just making sure that the weight stays back. Getting a nice stretch through your hamstrings, your inner hamstrings, your shoulders, all kinds of fun stuff. And then walk those hands back in. This time for the hips here, take the hands, walk them forward, and let the hips come down. So we're working kind of planking, right? Up on the toes, let your hips come forward and sag toward the mat or the floor, wherever, since you're not on your mat anymore. Walk them back, all the way back to that straddle. And do it again, come forward, let the hips drop. And then back. Do that one more time. All the way down. And then back again. Walking the hands back around toward the right foot. Lunge. Taking the right leg straight. And back into the lunge. Walk the hands back through the middle. And then over to the left. Same idea here, lunging, bending into the knee. You can always drop the back knee in a lunge if that's where you need to be. Finding a center, take the left leg straight-ish. And then back to the middle again. Here, instead of having your toes point forward, turn them out to the corners a little. And you'll adjust as you go. With an exhale, bend the right knee in the same direction as your toes, not forward of them. And then inhaling, come back center. Exhale over to the left. Same thing, check in with your knee and your toes, making sure the feet are where they need to be. And then you're just gonna go side to side. Finding the stretch, whatever that ends up looking like. You can lean on your hands as much as you need to here. We're gonna go one more time on each side, so just let your even right and left. Coming back to the middle, we're gonna turn toward the top of the mat again and step forward and do fold. One more time, bend into the knees on an inhale, roll your spine up. And we're back to standing. So here, let's go ahead and take a short step back with the left foot. We're gonna work in warrior one to begin. So feet flat, 10 toes toward forward. Bending into the right knee here. Again, keeping that back heel grounded. Hips square to the top of the mat. And then the arms, let's start with the arms extending up. Relax into your shoulders. Again, thinking nice open chest. From our warrior one, we're going to move into warrior two. So open the arms parallel to the floor, step that left foot back probably a little, or maybe a lot. Look down, make sure you can see just your right big toe. That'll help. Stretching through the middle fingers in opposite directions. Taking the left hand to the back of the left thigh, and then turning the right palm toward the ceiling. Reach the right arm up, but then imagine drawing your shoulder blades together on your back here. And maybe you can turn this right shoulder down a little bit so that your chest rotates toward the ceiling. This right arm alongside the right ear again, keeping the chin tucked. If you need more, you can take that left hand, kind of wind it to the inside of the thigh and maybe give it a little pull if you need more. There's always something to add. So don't worry if the next thing isn't happening for you just yet. It may or may not in the future. So back to warrior two. And then step back to the top of the mat. All right. So let's go to the second side. We're going to take that short step back with the left foot. Again, just adjusting your feet so that they're wide enough forward and back and wide enough sideways so that you feel stable. Right? Hips are square here, opening the arms. Again, the shoulders stay down and back so the chest is open even here. And then back to our warrior two. So our arms are parallel to the floor. The feet are as open as you need them to be. Always checking in with the big toe, stacking the knee and ankle. Extending through the fingers so you feel that stretch, even though it doesn't look like much. Take the right hand to the back of the right thigh. Left palm turns toward the ceiling and that hand reaches up. We're going to drop the left shoulder down so the chest turns toward the ceiling a little bit. This arm is alongside the ear. And maybe we pull with the right hand a little or not, or a lot, who knows. And then back to warrior two. And step back to the top of your mat. Wherever that might be. So we're going to take standing balance. And if you feel like you need to stand by the wall, that's fine. You may or may not be able to have your hands helping you though. So we're going to keep the feet simple. And then we're going to try and get that opening of the chest idea going on at the same time. So let's, excuse me, go ahead and lean all the way over into your right foot, lifting the left knee, opening at the knee and bringing that foot in, whether your foot is your toes are on the floor, your foot is at the inner calf, or the foot is all the way to the inner thigh. Knee. Wherever you are, hug the legs together. Just avoid being on your kneecap. Staying as stable as you can, tall as you can through your spine. Here, the fingers are going to interlace behind the lower back. Shoulders pull toward each other. Knuckles stretch toward the floor. The hands can lift away from the lower back or not. And we want to think lifting the chest toward the ceiling like we did in our back bend after standing back on the 2 feet on the floor. So this is a little different. Listen to your body, right? Maybe you add something and it's too far. Maybe you're bored and it's not far enough and you need to add something. We're going to take one nice big breath. Gently release what you got. And sometimes it's like all intentional and sometimes it's just falling out of stuff. It happens. So all the way to the left, lifting the right, open at the knee, and bring that foot in. Again, regardless of where your foot is. Finding the stability, hugging in towards center, keeping the spine really tall, and then adding in your fingers. And maybe you interlace this time. Maybe you can take cactus arms with the elbows wide, right? And then lifting the chest toward the ceiling, adding in your back bend. Make it more challenging or less. And it might not be the same on this side. And take one more big breath. And then gently release what you got over here. And if you stepped all the way from your mat, go ahead and come on back. Inhaling the arms up. Let's exhale and fold forward. And just like before, maybe you just hang here. Little bend in the knees, grab an opposite elbow, let your head hang. Just be really loose and relaxed. All right. And we're going to make our way back to down dog. And drop into the knees. Taking a child's pose here for just a little second. And then let's slide forward out onto the belly. Dangerous. So we're going to take the hands down by the sides. We're going to work with just the upper body to begin. So imagine gluing your toenails to the floor. Turning the tailbone toward your heels. Pull the shoulder blades together on your back and curl your chest toward the front of you or in front of you like we did when we were reaching for the ceiling. Same idea. Stretching the knuckles back. You can definitely have your fingers interlaced here. I think I forgot to say that. Just like we've been doing, only now you get to fight gravity. Let's release it. Make a little pillow for your head. And rest either your chin or your forehead on this little pillow here. Working with just the lower body. Spread your toes really wide. And then imagine extending your big toe toward the wall behind you. Try not to just squeeze your butt. Lift your legs up off the floor. Don't worry about high. Keep the length. Keep the lower back happy. And then release. So we're going to put it together then. Arms get back down by your sides. Interlacing if you choose. Same idea that we're going to tuck the tailbone just a little bit. Ground into the pelvis. Pull the shoulders back. Curl the chest away. Take the big toes toward the wall behind you and lift your legs. Breathe. Again, keeping the lower back long. You want to look forward rather than up to keep the back of the neck neutral. Or even at least, right? Take one more nice big breath. And then release it all. Making a little pillow for the hands, or for the head again. Turn your toes toward each other and then just gently kind of shake back and forth on your hips. Shake out the muscles in your back. And then come back to center. So here, we're going to make our way up, kneeling plank maybe. Give yourself a child's pose. And then kind of step on the heels. So we aren't going to be here long, but we are going to be on the tops of the knees. So if you need a little extra cushion on the tops of the knees, please maybe fold your mat up or use a blanket. Or if being on the tops of your knees is just not going to happen, then don't do it. We're going to move into camel or camel-ish. So just like before, the toenails are grounded into the mat. The tailbone is tucked toward the knees here. And just like when we were standing, if you wanted to take your hands and support on either side of the lower back, that's totally fine. You can take your fingers and interlace again. You can take those cactus arms. Maybe you want to take the arms straight up toward the ceiling. We can add or subtract just like always, right? So that little tuck of the tailbone, shoulders down and back, lifting the chest again toward the ceiling, keeping the chin tucked. If you need the hands on your lower back, then leave them if you want play with where your arms are to intensify the stretch, and give it a go. If the arms are extended alongside the ears, and that's really no big deal, see about bringing the palms together. Keeping the elbows pointing toward the ceiling, bend your elbows so that you're bringing your thumbs toward the back of your neck. Keeping the head in line. One more nice big breath wherever you are. Inhaling, make your way back to neutral. Go ahead and release wherever your arms are, and then sit back on your heels again. Take a moment, right? Kind of that moment in the middle. Let's go ahead and take the legs around front. Extending the legs out long, just like we were standing up. So the feet are hip bone distance apart. Feet are flexed with the toes pointing toward the ceiling. You're upright on your pelvis and tall through the spine. Reach the shoulders up, and let's hinge forward into a fold. So just let your hands fall where they do. When we reach for the toes, a lot of times that loses the chest, right? And we spent a lot of time keeping those shoulders down and back, so leave them there. Even when you come forward. One more nice big breath here. Inhaling the hinge back up. Release your arms. And then let's go ahead and bring the right foot flat to the floor. It can stay inside or to the outside of the left leg, right? Pelvis is level, the spine is nice and tall. Maybe this left leg needs to stay straight, but see if you can bring the heel back toward the right sit. Pelvis is still level, the spine is still tall. If not, take that leg back out. Wrap the left arm around the leg here. Support with the right hand behind the back. And this looks familiar, right? So pressing into the right hand, pulling against the thigh, rotating your belly, your side ribs, your shoulders, looking over your shoulder. Keep an eye on that left shoulder. Keep it back. A mental eye. You don't actually have to look at it. Let's go ahead and release that. Unwind the legs. And we'll go to the second side. So the left foot flat, inside or outside. Pelvis is level, spine is tall, either way. Maybe the right knee is bent, maybe it is not. Wrapping the right arm and supporting with the left. Using the floor as leverage, and then rotating around nice and even here. Releasing that back to center. Let's unhook the legs. Maybe wobble the knees a little bit. Feet, whatever feels good. And then make sure you have that behind you. We're going to take the feet flat to the floor. Hang on to the hamstrings and then roll yourself down to your back. Knees into the chest. We want to rock them a little bit. Mostly because that just feels good. And then taking the feet flat to the floor. I feel like we did this, I don't know, recently. Find your backside on the mat. Okay. So your shoulders are back, the lower belly, the lower back is not touching the floor. You've got that nice lumbar curve, right? Same thing with the neck. The back of your neck doesn't touch. Your spine is in this really great neutral position. So keep it there. And lift the right leg up toward the ceiling. Strap if you like. Otherwise, maybe the fingers behind the back of the thigh here. Watch how the shoulders like to sort of roll up off the floor already. Keep them down and back as much as you can. And if this right leg can't be totally straight, don't panic, a little bit of a bend. Yeah. With the breath here, exhale, pull that leg a little bit closer to the body, and then inhale, let it go a little bit. So you're gonna go back and forth like that. And it doesn't have to be a big movement. Until you find a place where that, if the right leg comes in anymore, your lower back's gonna flatten out. Or maybe your shoulders have to lift up off the floor. Right? Find that place just before that. And that's where you wanna work. Bring your right leg to a kind of neutral place. So it's a stretch, but it's not the big one, right? Take your left leg straight down toward the bottom of your mat. And in your head, stand on that left leg, right? So it's really straight and strong and your foot is flexed. And now see if you can pull that right leg in again. Sometimes here that right hip likes to slide up a little bit. Really work to stay neutral. We're going to take just a couple more breaths like that. Find the neutral place for your right leg again. Extend your left arm out, ground that side of your body, and open up the right leg to the right. And just like with everything else, you're going to find that place right before the backside starts to help. Right? Try to keep your backside neutral. Let the weight of your right leg lean into the right arm. See if you can flex your right foot. We're going to take one more big breath. And then bring that leg back to center and release. So probably your legs feel a little different, so let's even it out. Take the feet flat to the floor again, start there. If you got a little crooked on the back side, just straighten it all out. When you're ready, take the left leg up. Using your strap or your hands behind the thigh here, working to keep the backside neutral as the left leg comes in and out. Notice where the lower back wants to round, or the shoulders just can't stay back anymore, and stop just before that. And sometimes if we go too fast, we miss that spot. Okay? So take everything really slow. Find neutral for your left leg and extend the right leg down toward the bottom of your mat. And now see if you can pull the left leg in and out again a little bit. And maybe it's less, that's fine. Find that neutral spot for your left leg again. Extend the right arm out to the right and let the leg fall to the left. Keep your backside neutral on the floor. Support the leg with the left hand and let it just kind of rest into the left arm. Maybe flex the foot if you want a little more sensation. Even if that leg is barely over to the left, as long as you've got a stretch and then you flex your foot, you feel it. You don't have to take that foot to the floor to get it. Another nice big breath. And then we'll bring it back to center and release. So hopefully we feel even again on the back side here. Go ahead and bring the feet flat to the floor. Again, just adjusting through the spine if you get a little off. Let's bring both knees into the chest and rock again. So feet flat to the floor. Opening the arms out into a T position here. Picking your hips up, move them to the left edge of your mat, and drop the knees over to the right. Let the left shoulder be heavy. Maybe look over the left hand. And we've gotten pretty good into our hamstrings, so if you want to extend maybe just the left leg over toward the right hand, or both legs, feel free to make that adjustment. We'll take just a couple more breaths over on this side. And then making our way back to the middle. And we'll switch sides. So hips right, knees left. Keeping the shoulders down, connected to the mat. And then whatever little additions or not that you want to make, feel free. And just a couple more nice big breaths over on this side. Make our way back to center again. Once you're back into the middle of your mat and your spine is neutral here, go ahead and bring those knees in one last time. And squeeze them in as tight as you can get. Pull the forehead toward the knees and give yourself a hug. Release it out into a full body stretch. Releasing that stretch, and then bringing the arms back down by your sides. Find Shavasana, whatever that looks like for you. So if flat on the floor is not comfortable, maybe you take your feet flat to the floor, or you support behind the knees with a bolster. You can take the soles of your feet together, finding that release there in the inner hip. Wherever the body is going to be comfortable enough that you don't have to think about it anymore. Once it's there, release the muscles. Bringing the awareness to the breath without controlling it anymore. Just let it do its thing. And just like we started, allow yourself to just be here. There's nothing to do anymore, no place to be. And then right here. Allowing yourself to rest for just a few minutes. Allow your breath to gently deepen. Restoring small movements to the body first. Gradually wiggle, move, stretch. And when you're ready, taking the feet flat on the floor. Slowly making your way back to seated. Bringing the palms to touch. Bowing to the light within. Namaste. Yoga. So thanks for practicing with me, you guys. You can always find more videos at anydayyoga.com. Also, obviously, on the Facebook page, they're there. And yeah, if you have any questions, suggestions, comments, whatever, holler, and I will see y'all next time. Bye.